Hello, everybody. Welcome. My name is Tom Wong, and today I would want to spend the next 10 minutes talk about whether certification program can be part of your educational strategy. So, before I start, I just want to give a big thanks to our community and especially Sherry and Kevin and everyone else on our community team. And I'm very honored to be part of the presentation for Solution Day 2020. So today I want to just talk about how whether certification program could be part of your education strategy, and specifically I want to highlight whether why you should include certification program as a part of your education offerings. Um, what are some of the examples of certification programs that are implemented, and some of the pitfall along the way if you do decide to move forward with certification program. So most of the ideas here, as a matter of fact, all of the ideas here are not really unique to our Oasis LMS, which means if you already have a platform, you should be able to implement a lot of these ideas. But if you are interested, my contact is at the last slide. So why should you implement a certification program? So a lot of our clients who are implementing the certification program is definitely their flagship program. And it's very recognized in the industry, and it does bring a lot of recurring revenue as people um, flock to the association to do the certification. And as the recognition builds, he also gave opportunities for institutional sales as large hospitals and large institutions decides to certify all their employee team members. And it can become definitely a huge market differentiator. In addition, if you have a certification program, you could offer multiple levels of or multiple verticals of certification, and this would definitely further increase revenue and further increase the involvement, the engagement you have with your audience. And last but not least, even though certification program does require a lot of work to launch, you might actually have all the necessary pieces in order to launch a successful certification program. So with that said, I'm just gonna get into some of the examples. The first example is a lot of the certification program are a hybrid product. What I mean by hybrid is you have an on-demand component, and that really is just a lot of resources that's available for the learner. And then you have an in-person component, uh, which is sort of the will make it hybrid. And keep in mind that due to COVID, some of the in-person event has to convert to a webinar based, but the main thing is it is still a synchronous education offering, and there's a lot of collaboration, there's a lot of engagement that's happening, and the in-person event is typically followed by an exam. And as the learner goes through this whole hybrid product and meet certain criteria within the in-person event, along with the exam, passing the final exam, they will receive a certificate associated with this particular certification. So here's just an example of one of our client, ASGE, who have a set of STAR programs, and their STAR program follows a hybrid model. So another example that's also very popular is self-paced certification programs. So essentially, you have a sort of a linear progression of contents that the user is supposed to go through, and as they reach the end of the progression, they will have a final exam, which will conclude their certification requirement if they have passed it. So this is very typical, and here's just an example of a certification program that has 82 steps along the way before the final exam. So this is a linear progression in the sense that you have to finish one module before the next module opens up, and each module has learning content followed by uh, knowledge check so that you cannot just fast forward through the entire curriculum. You have to sort of self-pace yourself and proven that you have grasped each drip of the content before you reach the very end. And by the end of it, this program happened to offer about 80 hours of self-paced content before the final exam, but you know that by the end of it, that certification carries a lot of weight because the learner has definitely demonstrated that they put in the effort to receive the certificate. Another type of certification that's also quite popular is what I refer to as a mix and match. So to become certified, you must take a green course, a blue course, and the orange course, for example. And it doesn't matter which one you take, as long as you take one from each color, you will be certified. So this is popular because it allows the learner to receive the certificate without having to uh, meet a very rigid criteria. It allows them to pick sort of what their interests are and still achieve the certificate. And then it also allowed the user to sort of achieve different levels of certificate by taking more from each column. So that's a mix and match example, which is also very, very popular. And another example of certification program is taking beyond just learning and the testing. You can also have a certification program where it requires the user to say upload some of their licensure information, such as here, the first step, some insurance liability submissions, and also some recordings of them performing certain actions. And so I would say the some certification program has gone beyond just uh, prove that you know something. They also require you to demonstrate your skill and upload other type of requirement that is typically associated with that profession before you're officially certified as something. So those are just a few examples of certification program that we have seen our client implement within our platform. So some of the pitfalls that you might want to consider. The first is the certification program needs to have a little bit rigor and to defend its certificate as to defend their certification program, and that typically require a secure exam at the very end. And our platform offers a proctored secure exam flow so that if having a high stake exam at the end of the certification is required, our platform allows you to configure that program without problem. And another pitfall is how to get recognition for your program, right? So I would say this one definitely takes time. You're not going to be able to launch something on day one and expect the same level of recognition and the following within the industry compared with another certification program that has been around for 10 or 20 years. So I would say that to become um, successful, you have to start small. You might want to just have a few certificates, and then you grow into it where you have, um, build enough trust, build enough recognition in the industry so that your certificate from your program carries a lot of weight, and then you can build on top of that by offering a progression of certificate so that the user can go from level 1 to level 2 to level 3 and so on and so forth, so that your program, you can almost see your certification program grows over time. So there's other pitfalls, I'm sure, and there, a lot of them are require a lot of volunteer time from your subject matter expert to sort of bring together some of the content you already have, whether from webinar recordings, from annual meeting recordings. um, Probably require some sort of question collection so that you can create some sort of gate check to see, okay, you have to pass a test in order to be certified, right? So those are type of things that are typically required, but more than likely you have already have a lot of the necessary pieces. With that said, if you are interested to discuss anything that I discuss here, definitely feel free to reach out, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions you have. Thank you and have a nice day.